This is Dolores. I'm going to go over this transcript with you and hopefully show you a few things that'll help make it easier for you to determine how on track you are to graduate and what classes you need to take and what classes you might want to take for fun. So, starting at the top of the transcript, this is where you will find your name. This example student I named Joe Mama. He's in 11th grade. There's his birth date, his student ID, and his counselor's name. There's his parent or guardian's information. Over here we see that the date that this transcript was printed was in July, so it was printed at the end of summer and it doesn't show the student's current classes. We see grade 9 fall, 9th grade spring semester, 10th grade fall semester, 10th grade spring semester, 11th grade fall semester, and 11th grade spring semester. So that's how it's organized. If you've been to several different schools in any given year, then you might see more than one fall semester for any academic year, for example. And sometimes it gets a little messy and hard to read, but this is an example of a pretty straightforward transcript. These headers right here that are highlighted show what can be found underneath them in each column. So you have the course ID, which you don't really need to know most of the time. The course title. So, well, I can't highlight the title just by itself, but Sewing Tech, French, English 9, etc. You have the mark, which is what we usually refer to as the grade. So this student has mostly C's, an A, and a D. The ATT/CMP represents each one of these columns. So the ATT stands for attempted, credits attempted versus credits completed. So right here, this student received passing grades for every class they took this semester. This student took quite a bit of classes, 7 classes, and I think that this was, I don't know, something about the school. I changed the courses. This was the real transcript, but for some reason this student was taking 7 classes. Probably had a 0 period. So he completed every course that he attempted to complete, although he got really close to failing right here in Sewing Tech, but even with the D- was still able to complete the 5 credits. So going down, if you look at each semester, the first place we see the student actually failed a class was for English 10 in spring of their 10th grade year. So credits attempted was 5, but credits completed was 0. So when you're trying to figure out of all the classes you've passed and maybe if you've failed any, how close you are to actually completing your graduation requirements, you're usually going to want to go to the bottom of the transcript. Sometimes it's located in a different place, but it's usually at the bottom, to this place called the credit summary. As you see, these highlighted areas, it says subject area, so fine arts, language, tech, then another fine arts and language section, English, econ, government, American history, etc. Then you have the credits required. So this is how many credits you have to earn in each section. Then you'll have the credits completed section. So if you subtract the credits completed from the credits required, that'll tell you how many you still need. So this student completed 20 out of 20 in fine arts, language, and tech, so they no longer need any. 10 out of 10 in the fine arts and language, they no longer need any. But only 20 credits out of 40 needed in English, so the student still needs 20. Now let me ask you a question. If this student is about to start 12th grade, well, hypothetically they would already be in their first semester of their 12th grade year. How many English credits would you have expected them to earn? So think about it real quickly. You earn about 5 credits each semester. There's 2 semesters in every academic year. So 10 credits equals 1 year of classes. Okay. So when they say that you need 40 credits of English to pass, that's basically 4 years of English. You have to take English every year of high school in order to pass, at least for this district. That's what their requirements are. So this student has had 3 years of high school so far. They've completed freshman year, sophomore year, and their junior year. And now they're in their senior year, but they need 20 credits of English. So how many semesters did they fail English or maybe not take it? And how many years does that equal? You can pause the video here while you figure that out. Okay, this credit summary is interesting because they break down economics, government, American history, and world history. Oftentimes you'll see all 4 of these grouped together. So you'll see basically history, econ, and government, and then you'll see just credits required will be 30 because it's 1 whole year of world history, 1 year of American history, 1 semester of government, and 1 semester of econ. But in this particular credit summary, they've separated it out for you. I have the elotero in the background honking his or her horn. It's driving me crazy. Hopefully you can't hear it. So most schools do require 20 credits of PE, 5 of health, 1 year of a life science, which is usually like biology or some other type of life science, 1 year of physical science, which will usually be chemistry or physics, but some schools have some really fun sort of twists on science, and so you might have more options. Then 3 years of math is usually required, and what the credit summaries don't show, and I'm not sure why they don't show it in most of them, 1 of those years usually has to be in algebra, but I suppose that could vary just a little bit. And then they'll have a certain amount of electives that you need to complete. And then you'll see the total. So this is the average total that most high schools require, 220, although the breakdown will sometimes be different. This particular student has completed 160 credits and has 60 more to go. So although there's some areas that the student has failed certain classes, because he took a lot of extra classes in his first few semesters, he has plenty of time to finish these 60 because you earn about 30 per semester, and he has 2 semesters to go, his fall senior semester and his spring senior semester. So let me show you quickly an example of a different credit summary. I just zoomed in right here. This is actually the Lompoc credit summary. So you'll see it's organized differently. They have how many credits are, like this student is short, which is kind of a funny way to say it, but basically how many are left, how many are required, and then how many were completed. So it's in a different order. They require 4 years of English, just like the other district does, 3 years of math. Now here we have 3 years or 30 credits of social science. So we're going to pause here for a second and see if you remember why this would say 30 and just say social science. What does that mean? What classes does this include? Pause. Okay, we see 30 credits or 3 years of science are required. That's unusual. I don't often see that. It's usually just 2 years or 20 credits, and it's usually the life science and the physical science. But it looks like this district is probably trying to get every student to complete biology, physics, and chemistry, and so they made that a requirement. They have the usual 20 credits of PE, only 10 of fine arts or foreign language, so that's a little unusual. Usually I'll see about 20 credits are required. And then you have 70 electives that are required for a total of 230. So it's a little bit higher than a lot of districts that I've seen. If a student was going from that last school we saw the transcript for into this school, then all the extra credits that they took in areas that are not counting for this school would now be counted under the electives. So it would kind of work itself out, except in certain sections like science. That student didn't take extra science classes, and none of the art or language classes they took would count in science. So that would really change the student's schedule if they transferred to a school that needed 3 years of science, because they would have to probably let go of some of their electives, or they may be kind of behind in a way that would be difficult to catch up. So I'm going to show you another example of that, what that looks like. Here for this student in the original transcript, I've highlighted all the areas that would possibly fall into fine arts, language, tech, or fine arts and language. So we see sewing tech, French, and media arts for 2 semesters, design art for 2 semesters, freehand drawing for 2 semesters, and then because the student took family health for 1 semester, because they only need 5 credits, they took French for 1 more semester. So that's 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 50, 55. So if they need 30 credits in those sections, those sections combined, sorry, then how many electives, let me see, 5, 10, 15, 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 50, 55. So that student has earned 55 credits in this section, classes that can all be counted towards fine arts, language, or tech. But they only needed 30. So how many credits of those classes are going to count towards electives? Pause. That's right. 25 credits will count in the elective section. In this case, those are the only electives that the student has. So out of 45 that are required, they have 20 left. So when you're looking at your transcript, sometimes it may be difficult to determine what class counts for which subject. But if you have any questions about it, go ahead and ask your counselor. If you have any question about the courses that you need and how you're going to fit them all in, that's definitely something you want to talk to your counselor about. And if you have a lot of classes that you want to take for fun, looking at this credit summary, how many semesters you have left, what you've earned, all of that can help you figure out a plan to fit those classes in. Maybe you will want to take a 0 period. Maybe you'll want to take a 7th period. Or maybe if you take in summer school, you can knock out some of the regular requirements and then fit in some of those electives during the year. Or lastly, you could look into dual enrollment classes at the local community colleges to take some of those fun classes or things that you're really passionate or interested in, passionate about or interested in. So I hope that this helps you to understand how to read a transcript better. And we have just a few more questions for you to see how well you understand it. And then we'll be finished with this part of the council meeting. Hope to see you all soon.